Hey, what's good? You are watching Daniel and Gian talk, and today we have a very special guest. Not live, but direct from DJ's Universal Comics. I've been coming to this store for, almost 10 years now. The only place in LA I get my comics, but the owner, the man himself, Kat, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you guys doing today?
Good, good.
Not too bad, not too bad. Thank you for letting us record here in the shop.
Anytime.
So let's talk comics, man. First thing I want to ask you is, you've been married for a while now. I'm married now. How do I get my wife off my back when it comes to buying comics and stuff like that? Since you've been doing it for a long time, I mean, when do they finally accept it and leave you alone?
Well, I own a shop, so it's not like I got no choice. It's my livelihood, so I don't know, man. I mean, buy her a house, buy her a car, diamonds, you know.
Okay, so I got
Sancho. I don't know.
Maybe that right now that's probably the most affordable option right now is Sancho. Yeah. How long have you been doing this for? How long have you?
I'm between my shop and others. We're talking early '90s, so I got about close to 30 years under my belt.
Okay.
Nice.
You know, just whether my shop or running somebody else's shop.
Right.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a minute.
Okay.
It's still fun.
Yeah,
I still every Wednesday I still get I read a comic, just get to the last page, you're like, oh shit. Oh. Some good stuff.
Which is good. I think you need that drive.
You
Otherwise,
still need to. I mean, it's a business. It's definitely a business. But, you know, I gotta get enjoyment out of it. Otherwise it just becomes a routine and I mean, it gets monotonous, bagging and boarding every week, orders, this, that, cleaning, you can't. So still getting the enjoyment out of reading, it's definitely a plus. Keeps it going.
I think the customers, they see it too. They're gonna know if you're just doing
the interaction alone. It's like, I'm not that much of a social person per se after work. You know, I'm wife, kids, my life is my life. So this is my bar, so I get my social out of you guys. Right. Coming in, talking, whether we talk about comics or something at work or somebody on the road or the weather, the fire, whatever it is. It is what, you know. Yeah. It's home. Okay. For a lot of people, it's home. For me, it's home. You know.
How many titles are you reading? Like, do you try to read as many
I
as
try
possible?
to read just about everything every week. You know, just try to squeeze in just so I know what just so I know what's out there. You know, when you do your look at the previews every month, you get an idea of what's coming on the table. So they give you enough to know. But I try, you know, Marvel, DC, you definitely staples. You know, you get into a Walking Dead, you read Invincible, you know, start following this guy, Donny Cates. You know, you hear things from you mentioned to me a lot of times. You got to read this. I got plenty of guys. So I sample stuff. It's fun. It definitely is, you know.
Okay. And speaking of Donny Cates,
man, I'm gonna tell you, that boy's something else.
you hit me up the other night. You have a kind of a theory. For those that don't know, Brian Michael Bendis, who has been pretty much the anchor at Marvel for all the major storylines now for how many years?
It's been a minute. It's been about what, 2000?
Yeah. Was it Civil War? Was that his very first crossover book? Or
I don't. He came in.
I know he started.
Was it Alias? I don't know. It's been a while now.
Yeah, he started off with his own titles, but
Alias.
When he really put a name out for himself was I want to say Civil War.
No, it was House of M.
Oh, House of M.
House of M, I believe, was the first major cross that they did, and then they went on from House of M, his Avengers, everything else. But I believe House of M, if I'm I think he wrote that.
But he's basically been in control. Of all the big storylines.
He's been directing traffic between him and a couple other guys, Quesada being in charge and being the director, they've managed to tell some cool stories.
Right.
But yeah, he's leaving, and I don't. People have been wondering what he's gonna do. We've had this discussion for the last 2-3 weeks, and I'm reading. My son actually loves Doctor Strange, so I've been on and off with that character, but then when Donny Cates moved over, I'm like, let me give this, I loved his indie stuff, so I'm reading. So I read this week's Doctor Strange, and I get to the last page, and I went, damn, this is some good stuff. It didn't click right away, but I'm like, there was a conversation afterwards later that day, you know, with a couple of customers, and then it clicked. I'm like, no, this is, my belief, and I'm willing to put money down. He's gonna do Superman.
Okay.
He's gonna do Superman. I don't know why Marvel. It's like, why would Marvel bring back Sentry?
Right.
I mean, you know, this soon. I mean, not that it's this soon, but because he wrote Sentry, he didn't create Sentry. Jenkins did, but he definitely had a hand in developing the character, and it was Marvel's Superman, basically, because at the time, you know, DC was having problems with Superman. There was rumors that Superman might get pulled out of Warner Brothers, out of DC, and Marvel was like, well, we can do. I heard a bunch of things where maybe Marvel would be writing. They were trying to show that they can do a Superman-like character within their universe, because the companies are different.
Yeah.
I mean, superhero-wise, their powers, everything is different. So I don't know if you can fit a Batman. I mean, you have your Moon Knight.
Right.
But it's not Batman.
No, not at all.
No.
I mean, and then the current Moon Knight book is freaking, I mean, what Lemire, I believe, finished it off, and what they're doing with it. Great stuff, but it's not Batman.
Right.
You know? So, but yeah, like I said, I'm willing to bet, I'm 100% sure that he's getting Superman, and we'll see what he does. We'll see. I'm not thrilled, but we'll see.
What have they said what his position at DC is going to be? Is he
I
just gonna write on
I
the
don't know.
book?
I heard it's tight-lipped. I mean, rumors were, what I've heard through shop talk is that DC offered him pretty much what Marvel wouldn't, seat at the table, movies, this, that, input, like,
They definitely
whatever.
need help with the movies.
You know, but I mean, hey, it's good. I'm a firm believer that one closed door opens another door. You know what I mean? It's good for the industry. You know, at the end of the day, people read. That's all I want is people to read comic books.
Now, you mentioned that your son was reading Doctor Strange. How old's your son?
14.
So I feel like when I walk into a comic store, it's rare that we see like younger people coming in. So I'm gonna assume that you got him into. And being around the store is the reason why he'd want to get into the books.
I mean, yeah, it's easy. I mean, you know, hey, Dad owns a comic book store. I'm not restricted by a budget. I can come in and pick up a comic book off the shelf. You know, that's fine. I mean, look, I've been in business, and everybody has an opinion about why the state of this industry is the way it is. And, you know, my belief is that somewhere along the lines, and it's not a belief, it's a fact, somewhere along the lines in the 90s, we lost the staple of what you need in a comic book store, which is the kids. Every adult, anybody that reads comics right now, I'd say about a good 95%, maybe more, has started reading comics at 14 or under. You know, you don't pick up, as an adult, you don't just get up and say, you know what, I'm gonna go start reading comics.
Right.
You can't. It's a chore. It's Pavlov's experiment. You train to go. Every Wednesday, you train to go and pick up your comics because you got new releases.
Right.
If you're an adult that's never read comic books and you see a movie or two, the best you're gonna do is maybe get on, you know, a trade paperback, because it's already there for you. There's no commitment. I don't have to come in 6 months in a row to pick up an issue. So somewhere along the lines, the publishers, they relied on the adult to support. And then when the economy hit, the adult lost their money, and it's hurt. I mean, you're feeling it. The numbers went. I mean, all you gotta do is look at the numbers. Why? I mean, I'm 49. Did I start reading comics at 49? No, I was 14.
Yep.
You know, I was replacing a generation of readers that read, you know, in the 40s, 50s, 60s. So whether they were older and they were falling off or passing on, you know, I was the replacement. Every kid in that store in the 80s, in the 90s, and the 70s was a replacement for somebody older that was time to move on. You know, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you're seeing that now with Disney buying Marvel. I was happy. I'm like, dude, I got job security at that point. You ready? I got job security, because Disney's company motto is target audience is 5 to 17. or 5 to 15. They don't cater to anybody else above that age.
Right.
They catch you at 5 to 17, you're hooked on their brand forever. I mean, you go to Disneyland, yeah, there's a lot of families with kids, but there's a lot of people that don't have kids that walk around.
Yep.
I mean, do you see commercial advertised for older people? There's never a commercial geared towards the older generation with Disney products.
Right.
Whether it's superheroes, princesses, or whatever, it's all geared to that young audience. Get hooked on my brand. Once you're hooked, you're hooked. You know, everybody complains about.
And my dad's 72, and he still loves going to Disneyland. So.
And I'm pretty sure that he started going at 72, 52, 40. No, he probably got hooked in when he was a kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, so it's tough. You know, you're seeing it, but with all the movies, you know, giant commercials for all the superhero stuff. You know.
So do you have the movies helped bring a different audience into the story?
Well, you're seeing kids. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time. You know, I'm seeing more kids. You know, people are curious, adults. But again, the adults are going to be those passers-by.
Right.
I want to saw a movie. I heard I want to be hip and be able to hold a conversation with somebody else. So I'm going to read this. Everybody wants to read The Watchmen or this or that. There's so much more stuff besides The Watchmen that's worth reading.
That was
so
me.
much more.
That was me. I'm the one that you're talking about. I started reading comics from books, like the collections.
Right.
But doing the whole issue to issue thing, it was foreign to me, because I was like, well, there's so much stuff for me to catch up on before I could even get into newer stuff, that I was just, you know, you'd read all the volumes together as opposed to going out and starting new.
I mean, it's different times than me in the 80s, you know, or 70s or whatever. Different times. There's so much more going on right now. As a kid, you're like, you can't focus. Everything is Snapchat. Everything's that 5 seconds. How can I focus? You know, it's different times. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to start from issue. No, sometimes you just gotta jump into it.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
That's what I discovered later.
Just jump into it.
Who cares?
They'll give you enough. I mean, this goes for the main publishers, superheroes, because they've been around for 60 plus years. You know, with the independents, they're different because they're trying to compete for your dollar, you know. But you know enough about these characters that you don't need an origin story.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like Marvel doing Spider-Man. They didn't need to reboot the character. Sony did 5 movies that you've seen his origin in 5 different movies.
Right.
You know the origin, cartoons. There's no need to. Just tell me the next story. You got plenty of material. Just tell me the next story. You know, you just gotta take a leap. You know, people say, "Oh, it's too expensive." No, it's not. It's not. Honestly, you can set yourself a $10 budget or a $50 budget or a $100 budget a week, whatever you can afford, and I'll guarantee you, it's your cheapest form of entertainment.
Yeah.
You go to Starbucks. You like Starbucks? Oh man, we're hooked on Starbucks. The damn drinks are not cheap. You buy 2, 3 a day. That's $20. 5 days a week, that's $100.
Oh yeah.
And you literally just go to the bathroom, you piss that money away.
Yep.
You know, comics, you know, you come in, you set yourself a budget, you know, you read it. I mean, you can collect it, or if you don't want to keep it, donate them to a library. Donate them to the armed forces. You know, they send the stuff to armed forces all over the world, you know, and they love getting this stuff. You know, there's you can justify collecting.
Yeah.
And money is not an issue. I mean, kids, you know, dude, video games cost what, $60 a game?
Yep.
$70 a game? You're done with it in 3 hours. You go back, trade it in, you get what, $5, $10 for it?
Oh yeah, GameStop's not. they get you.
And then if you have a platform game, you got to buy the next platform.
Yeah, yep. That's the new gimmick is getting you to keep on buying all the add-ons to the game. It's almost like the crossovers.
Well, I mean, but the thing with the crossovers is the way they make these crossovers. Because I'm, you know, everybody complains, "Oh, I'm spending." No, you read the main book, you get enough out of the main story that you necessarily don't need to follow every crossover. Now, if you read a book that you want, then yeah, pick it up. But you don't have to pick up every book. You don't. Just read the main book. You know, obviously, you know, if it's like Secret Empire, you know, you might want to follow Captain America if you don't follow, because the book is about Captain America.
Right.
But you don't need every other freaking.
I'm with you on that one. All right, so speaking of crossovers, how do you feel about this metal thing that's going on with Batman and that universe? I mean, it's Justice League as well, right?
Right. I don't. I mean, I don't want to be that. I don't want to sound like, oh, I hate things, which I don't. I mean, a lot of people, oh, what are you angry? I'm not. I'm just. I look at it, I analyze it, and you know, I mean, I have a lot of customers that feel that this crossover with Doomsday, it's just like, a lot of them wish that they would have spaced it out, but then at least from my clientele, a few expressed the fact that it's with dark metal by issue 3, it's kind of like they're confusing. It was confused, and I mean, I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, man, what is it? I mean, you know, and then I again, putting one and one together, you know, it's like, well, Snyder came up. What my understanding is that he came up as an apprentice with Stephen King, you know, Dark Tower. So his forte is hard, you know, like hard suspense stuff like that. And I'm sitting here and then thinking about that. I said, wait a minute, the Dark Tower. It's like, you know, Batman finds he has the anti-monitors tower. It's the Dark Tower, you know, the gunslinger. He's the gunslinger across time and this and that, everything. And it's okay, but it's I don't know. I mean, taking the break, you know, with the one shots, which they're freaking selling like crazy, and it's like that Joker, the man who laughs, is like, dude, it's like what, $25 now or something like that, if not more.
Wow.
And they're all gone crazy. You know,
the Matina variants are going for a lot too.
Well, the website exclusives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. I have a feeling. I have a thought about Westcliffe's website exclusive myself, but I love Matina's work. It's just beautiful stuff, you know. But you know, they're great. I just, you know, it feels too much. You know what I mean? Because then you have something like Doomsday Clock, and everybody that knows me knows that I'm not that I don't care. I've never read the Watchmen. I own the miniseries.
Oh, wow.
I've never read it. I've tried, but it's just too wordy. I don't know. I just, you know, knowing the history behind it, why they were created, because of Charlton and this and the division between him and DC and wanting to tell a story, and I just I mean, it's, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you something. Jeff Johns, reading that first issue, and it was so good that he almost made me want to read Watchmen. Almost. Because it literally feels like a true sequel to Watchmen. I've read enough, you know, I've flipped through it enough to where I'm like, dude, and then Gary Frank's work is just insane. I mean, you can tell it's Gary Frank, but you're like, you can put it next to a Dave Gibbons page and you're like, holy smack. It's like, honestly, the Doomsday Clock feels like a true sequel to Watchmen, you know. So, you know, you got two events going on. It's just, I don't know, they're selling.
Right.
Doomsday Clock, the #1. Oh my God, that talk about jumping up in price too.
Would you say that DC is beating Marvel right now when it comes to comic sales? I mean, a lot of people.
Everybody's
out there
suffering.
that.
Comic sales. Look, everybody's suffering. Comic sales are not to sit there and toot your own horn. It's like,
right.
Look, I'm sorry, when you're printing. When you're printing, you know, 80,000 units, your bestseller, and everybody else is struggling at 10,000 plus
wow.
units. You know, I'm not tooting my own horn. Talk to me when you get back like the old days when, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, they were printing books in the millions.
Right.
You know, I mean, are you beating Marvel? I mean, maybe you are, because with 52, you lost readers.
Right.
You know, and that hurts you. So you do Rebirth, it brings you back to continuity, to what we had before 52. So people are coming back, and you actually have good stuff again. I mean, yeah, people are gonna want to read you. You might beat, you know, Marvel on sales, because again, if you look at Marvel and what they've done for the last 5+ years, to where books like Fantastic Four, X-Men, they were disasters or non-existent because they don't own the movie rights to those books. So they're like, well, you're messing up my product on the big screen. So am I going to make a book that's going to make sense to where it hurts me? So I'm rather not publish a book right now.
Yeah.
But then, you know, because again, if the X-Men were what they were, can you compete? No. So now, yes, the X-Men have been good again in the last year, but you have to build it back up, and you know, eventually you'll get to the point where Marvel will probably surpass DC on some level or not. But again, I wouldn't be woo if my numbers are still 80,000 for my best-selling book. So I'm hitting 1 million. If I have, like in Star Wars #1's case, I hit 1 million issues. That's because I had 50 different variants.
Yeah, with the gimmick.
With everything, where back in the day, all you needed is one book. I mean, yes, different times, different marketplace, you know, different audience. You know, as long as they publish, man, that's all. That's all. Just keep telling that's never-ending story. That's all it's about.
Right.
You know, get you hooked. You know, tell me a story. Find something, twist it, and give me something that I can go, whoa, this was some good stuff.
Now you mentioned Fantastic Four, X-Men, and not having movie rights, and rumors are going around right now that Disney is in the process of acquiring Fox and all the properties. Do you think that would help kickstart the X books and Fantastic Four back to where they were before?
Look, what it would help is, I mean, you have two different companies. You have Disney that owns Marvel, and you have, you know, Fox or Warner Brothers. I mean, Disney, you got to understand, Disney has a lot at stake with these properties because their target audience is 5 to 17. They have parks where these characters run around. So they have a lot more vested interest in their property to give them the care and the justice that they deserve if they get to the big screen or cartoons or anything, because it translates into merchandising money. It stays in house. When you know, and if you notice, all their movies, you don't go, again, you're not gonna go see a Marvel produced movie, Disney/Marvel produced movie, because the actor that plays the role. You're gonna go see that movie because of the character.
Right.
Disney Marvel gets you in their seat because of the brand. Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, Captain Marvel, you know, all the, you know, they don't get you in because of the actor behind the mask. I'm not gonna go see, you know, Iron Man because of Robert Downey Jr. Yes, he's a great Tony Stark. Oh my God, you know, you couldn't get a perfect casting, but he was in the dumps. Iron Man saved his career.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So he is Tony Stark, and it's gonna be hard to replace him. But they will find an actor eventually that would look like Tony Stark. But that's the key, is having Iron Man on the screen, to where somebody like Fox or Warner Brothers, because they don't have that outlet. And then with Fox, why are they gonna make? They don't truly benefit from having. I don't think they would benefit if the movie, because again, it would all go to Disney and the parks, and so there's a little bit of friction there. You know what I mean? Warner Brothers doesn't have that extension, so they get you with the actors. You know, Ben Affleck's playing Batman. You know, you got Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique in the X-Men. It's like, really? I can pull a Mystique book out and total opposite character.
Right.
But, you know, because of Jennifer Lawrence, so she won Oscars, and that, quote, I guess gets people in the chair. I don't know.
I don't think it does. I don't,
because I saw I finally saw Apocalypse on Blu-ray. Oh no, actually it was on HBO a week ago. I was like, I watched it, but I was like, man, I'd love to see a Marvel produced X-Men piece.
I think we all would.
You know, and for them to acquire, it's like there's a lot. I mean, what I've been hearing through people talking and, you know, rumors left and right, you got the fact that, you know, Disney's opening their own stream company, you know, and they want
in a few years,
and they want content. Secondly, Century 21 still owns the rights to the original Star Wars distribution, so they want that. You know?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they own the original prints.
You know, so they can't. That's why Lucas has always done, you know, remastered and all that. They can, you know, so they want that. You know, they want X-Men. They want Fantastic Four. They're on
Just
a roll.
imagine if you did a Fantastic Four Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
Look, I mean, years ago, we used I had this one customer, and I still see him around here and there, but he works in the industry, and you know, he knows attorney here and there, and I mean, we're always talking, and there's that one of the things he said, that there was a rumor that the way they would bring it's so easy to bring Fantastic Four and Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, up in space, ships adrift, 4 people in, the rocket's called the Fantastic. You know what I mean? It's just so easy. You don't even have to push it. You know, I mean, we're seeing what I was watching Guardians 2, Watchmen. The Watcher is in there. You know, I haven't heard a deal, and I don't know what the deal is with the Skrulls, but when Avengers came out 10 years ago, Marvel wanted the Skrulls. Fox didn't give it to them. They created Chitauri. Now all of a sudden, the Skrulls are in Captain Marvel. I didn't hear no deal being done for them. I mean, you know, you don't use them. Or what's the rule? 7 years, you don't lose it. You don't use it.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's been a minute.
That's how they got Daredevil, Punisher, and Blade back.
You know,
because of that.
And you know, so I haven't heard any deals made. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not, you know,
right.
You know, the great fortune tellers. I don't know, but you know, you listen. You know, so you know, we'll see. I mean, there's that. There's that. There's also, what does Disney want? I mean, there's so much that Disney wants out of Fox besides superheroes. You know, they want. I mean, they really want. They want the X-Men back. Infinity War is just insane. Imagine having the X-Men in that franchise too.
Oh yeah. No, it's over.
I wouldn't
imagine seeing Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah. No, it's.
I mean, you can sit there and you go, oh, it's too much. It really isn't. Honestly,
no, it's not.
It really isn't. I mean, I saw Thor last week, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, it was so good. I mean, it wasn't like it didn't blow me out of the water, but I was like, I walked there, I was like, man, this is cool.
It's a good time.
It's a great, it's fun flick. You know, it's not. It didn't leave me with gaps. You know, I love the Valkyrie tie-in. That the original. I mean, you even got to see the original Valkyrie get killed by Hela, and she's a Valkyrie. I mean, it's just everything's so smooth with them. You know,
they've nailed their formula for sure. Where they can
get
that
brand. It's the Marvel brand.
Yeah, I mean. I know you haven't seen the Justice League movie yet, but whoever's running stuff over at Warner Brothers, man, I
mean, we all know Hollywood is not just Hollywood, but arts in general. Anything that has to do with creativity is based on ego. We cannot take constructive criticism properly. You know, my stuff's always better than your stuff. My story is better than your story. My comic is better than your comic. How about we all in the same damn pot? Let's make it better for everybody. How about get united and let's get more readers in.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at you watch TV and you see commercials for milk. They don't tell you to drink Altadena or Swiss or this or that. They just say drink milk. Consume milk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, just don't care, man. Marvel, DC, it's all the same. We're all the same. We're an industry. Everybody read comics. Stop smoking. Instead of spending money on a pack of cigarette, and that shit's expensive now, buy 2-3 comics. Read to your kid. Take your kid as a parent. Take your kid to the comic book store.
Yeah.
Be a dad. You know, do something with your kid.
Right.
You know, time goes by. You know, yeah. I mean, we live in a society now that in times that it's nonstop. It's bad. But still, you can make time, you know, it's escape for a minute.
There's something to be said about walking into a comic book store that you just can't.
It brings the kid back, man.
Yeah.
It brings memories. Look, I'm every time I get I look through a box and I find something that I remember buying as a kid. I'm like, oh man, I remember when this one came out. I remember I found this at a park, or a GI Joe figure or something. Oh, we're talking to Larry Houston, which was GI Joe man forever. It's like, dude, it makes you forget about things. It gives you that escape, clean escape.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't hurt your health.
Right.
You know, it might hurt your pocketbook a little bit, but fuck it. That's why you work.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
You know, you stop drinking for a week. You know, I don't know.
Well, with that, I know you told me you're gonna have a big sale coming up.
Oh yeah, Christmas week, the prior to Christmas, I'm having a 50% off sale in the store. Everything in the store is gonna be half off.
Wow.
Some items will be different discounts. I have, you know, marked down prices and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll run the week before Christmas. If you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll be posting a flyer up probably in the next day or two. So yeah.
All right. Excellent. Well, thanks a lot, Kat. Really
Gian,
appreciate it.
my pleasure.
Thank you.
Anytime.
And you guys know the drill. Smash that like button, ring that bell, hit subscribe, leave comments, let us know what you think. If you're listening to us on iTunes or SoundCloud, Daniel and Gian talk. If you want to listen to the podcast and don't have time to watch the video, make sure you subscribe. Leave a review on iTunes if you're listening on iTunes, and leave us comments on SoundCloud. We love reading your comments and interacting with you guys. And thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.